Hello, my name is Connor. In this video, we are going to be talking about my favorite Japanese EP releases from July of 2025. Somehow I've managed to be doing this for 7 months now, so, let's look forward to the next 7 and however many more after that. As always, there were a lot of great releases for EPs and also albums in July. In particular, we finally saw the release of the newest project from the band Suchmos, which I think we should start off with first. So Sunburst by Suchmos. The boys are back. What else can I really say? Well, for starters, this is the band's first project in 6 years, and honestly, it sounds like they have not lost a step at all. I find that this EP has a real obvious Steely Dan influence, though alongside that, I do also think that the trademark Suchmos sound is a little bit more reined in here than I expected. It still sounds like them, and it still sounds really good. It's just not as bombastic as some of their other work. It sounds to me like the band really has nothing left to prove, and I think they know that too. Despite that though, everything I mentioned in my 10-year retrospective for their first album, which I released a few weeks ago, you should go check that out, really still applies here overall, I think. The keyboards are wonderful. I still love Jones's voice. I don't think anyone is ever gonna say that they don't like the sound of his voice. It's absolutely wonderful. I love the timbre of it. I would also say that the guitars and the drums also keep everything moving along nicely too. While I would say overall my favorite song is the one titled Whole Flower, I really like the song Mary. The lyrics on this song are just so gushy and cute and just really, really sweet. For example, this is the opening verse. Let's get married, let's live together. We'll build a house somewhere and traverse the seasons. Until now I had nothing. I want to continue living this life with you at my side. This song also features some absolutely lovely electric guitar and piano arrangements too, and there's also the sound of birds, which I can only assume are maybe doves or maybe like pigeons or something, which of course really lends itself to the whole wedding theme too. Yeah, wow, this EP is just amazing. I'm so happy it's out. I'm so happy to have more of them, and hopefully this kind of spurns them on to actually keep making more and more music, because there's just something about their sauce that I just love to have on top of everything, I guess. The second EP I want to talk about is from the band 2Beef, and this EP is titled Orbs. This is the band's second EP, with their first having released in October of 2024. This EP really carries the obvious sound of noise rock and also post-rock that sounds very washed out and also kind of strung out too. For that reason, it kind of reminds me of like late 2000s, maybe circa 2007 rock and punk just a little bit. For example, I would say like the bands Minus the Bear and also Deftones. The very first song on this EP is titled Helvetica Standard, and it is absolutely wonderful and an awesome intro to this EP. Now, the second song on this EP is actually an interlude, and normally I think it's a little bold to include an interlude on an EP like this, especially when it's only 12 minutes long, and especially as the second song on that EP. But on the other hand, I do also think that it speaks to the artistry of the band too, so I'm not really deducting any mental points for that. Aside from that, I do really like the other two songs on this EP as well. I think you should check this one out. It's so short, I really think you should, because I know once I finished this as well, I also went back to listen to that first EP and I really liked it. And you know what? If you combine this and that one, you almost have a full album. So, I guess they have an album out. But since they technically don't, all I can really say is I need an album now. I like this a lot. I think their band sounds super cool. I do also appreciate that a lot of the lyrics are in English, because as an English speaker, that really speaks to me, Next up, we have the EP titled TSUBASA from the band KOTORI. While I really enjoyed KOTORI's 2021 album, I do also have to admit that I haven't really kept up with them in the slightest. But this EP really shows me that maybe I should have been, and maybe I should be still. With TSUBASA, the band is back with some more pop punk rock hits that are just absolutely awesome, and of course there is also a tinge of Midwest emo on these songs too, primarily on the song titled Happy End. Personally, I've always felt like KOTORI and also Anorak share a lot of the same rock pop DNA, and I do also really feel this way with the release of this EP as well. There's a song on this EP titled Seed, and I feel like this could have easily been on pretty much any Anorak EP or album. That said too, I do think it would be super cool if these two bands collabed in the future, because they are in a very similar space, and I would have to assume that they run in fairly similar circles in Japan. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it really seems that way to me. At the very least, I wouldn't be surprised if they've played at the same show together at some point somewhere, especially with KOTORI, I think being around since 2016, and I think Anorak being around since like 2018-ish. While I do like this EP, there are a few songs that I'm just not a huge fan of. I do kind of like the very final song. One song that I am just not really rocking with at all is the second to last one, which is titled Blue Moment. And that's because Blue Moment to me sounds like one of those like top 10s Western rock pop songs that you probably heard playing in a mall in like 2014 or 2015. I think the sound is really dated, and I'm surprised they even went with this here. They are somewhat known for making music like this. I just feel like this is a very direct callback to that very specific time in music history. So I'm not quite sure why they did that. It's a very old sounding sound, and I'm just not a fan. Maybe you're thinking, Connor, you're blowing this out of the water. What are you talking about? I'm just saying, listen to it and decide for yourself and get back to me if I'm right, because I'm pretty sure I'm on the money here. Regardless though, I still think you should check this out because it has some really awesome pop rock songs on here, which I know I will be listening to for the rest of this year at least. EP number 4 is titled A Plea for Kindness and is from the band Mother. Now I gotta say, this one really took me by surprise, and that's because the very first song on this EP is a very relaxed, soft rock song, but then the second song, and pretty much the rest of the EP, starts off with this very harsh cymbal clash and these stinging guitar passages, and it's like, what if the lead singer of Hitsuji Bungaku was in C-Pool? And I think that's a really cool mix in my opinion. I make this comparison too because it sounds like each song is very much a slow burn post-rock kind of song. Because of this too, I do also maybe have to say and to admit that this might be one of my favorite noise rock and shoegaze projects so far this year. I find that the band really displays their knowledge of those two genres on this EP, and particularly on the song titled After Goodbye. This song features an absolutely enrapturing backing guitar melody, which also really complements the blizzardy, reverbed guitar in the background as well. I also need to mention the drum work on the final song titled The Last of My Friend. I absolutely love this, and I think you need to listen to it immediately, expeditiously. It is so involved, it is so technical, it's crazy, it's wild, but it still stays perfectly on time with everyone else. It is so great. Honest to God, probably some of my favorite percussion so far this year. With that said too, this song is probably the craziest their instrumentals ever get, and because of that, I do think the songs are more or less very simplistic in nature, but I do also find that the band makes the most of that simplicity too. For that reason, I do think this is a really good starting set of shoegaze songs for anyone new to the genre. It's very easy to get into, and in general, I just think that everything from this band is absolutely lovely. So with all that said, I think you definitely need to listen to this EP in particular if you do like shoegaze. Very much so. Lastly, we have the EP Hey from the band Paterson. First and foremost, this is the band's debut EP, so congratulations, omedetou gozaimasu ne. I feel like this EP really gives me similar vibes to, I would say, Kaneko Ayano and also Ululu. And I say that because this EP features some absolutely smooth as hell soft rock, which is then mainly led by some acoustic guitar melodies on top of that. The lead singer's name is Hinata Serizawa, and I just have to say that I love her voice. It is so pleasant and pleasing to listen to. From what I could find, she is also a solo singer. She put out an album back in June of this year, which is titled Home Alone, which I ended up listening to, and honestly, I really enjoyed it, and I do plan to talk about it at some point in the future. So if you watch my videos, you probably know that I like to come up with names for certain types of music and genres and just sounds in general. This EP sort of calls out to me. I feel like I need to call the genre of this EP fireside rock, because to me this is really music suitable for camping or just when you're out with your friends at night and you're just kind of huddled around maybe someone's phone watching TikToks or something. I don't know, but I just kind of get that vibe from it. I do really love the instrumentation on this album. It's so sparse, but also still, like I said, lovely. Take, for example, the song Utopia. This has a spiraling guitar melody that I just love listening to. The rest of this EP also features very cute lyrics about very cute love. The opening song titled Remember has the following line, "On that day, I didn't need your reply because I knew we'd meet again." Later on too, Hinata sings, "I love the eye that you looked at me with." The lyrics on this EP are just full of these very lovey-dovey moments that are just cute and bubbly and are just fun to listen to, I think. I love her songwriting style. Unfortunately, this EP is very short, so there's not a lot to talk about here, but in case you do end up enjoying it, I think you should check out her solo album. And I guess in summary, I like Paterson and I am very excited to see what they come out with next, and whenever they come out with that first album, I know I will be listening to it and talking about it. Phew, okay, that is everything. This one actually kind of wore me out. There was a lot to talk about here, so I guess I hope you got some good recommendations, because I think I have chosen some very worthwhile bands that I think are really making some cool music and that I think you should check out, and I am hoping that they make more music soon so that I get to talk about it soon. As always, let me know what you thought of these EPs, or if there's any other EPs from this month that are really good that you are listening to. And hey, maybe if you're not subscribed and you're just finding this, please subscribe, because I will be talking about these bands and these kinds of EPs more and more and more. So yeah, stick around, I guess. Aside from that, though, that is everything I have for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, bye, bye.